So this is a Bailey Olympus 534, just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. We've already got AC, roll and power connected on the outside. I'll show you those when we go out to the outside of the van. But inside the van, you've got your master power switch, your internal lights, your awning light, and your water pump run. As you can see, the water pump is already turned on, as I've already got the water system filled on board the van. Underneath the seat, on the far side of the van at the front, to fill the water system, you're going to need to make sure that the yellow valve that you see on the floor is parallel with the floor. If that valve was pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat, it would actually mean that all the water that you're trying to put into the caravan is actually draining straight back out and onto the floor. So always make sure the yellow valve is parallel with the floor. To fill the water system though, you're going to need to open up all the taps on board the caravan. So as you can see, the taps are open and the water is coming out. But normally, if the system is empty, you'll actually see that the water system will spit and splatter to start with until it has got enough water through the system to run completely. It's a bit like when the water's been off at home, for instance, so it takes a few minutes to get the pressure back or the air out of the system, and then the water will run freely after that. So like I said, you'll open all the taps up on the hot side. That's the one in the kitchen, the one in the bathroom, and the one on the shower. I'm pointing at the wall because the shower is just behind there. Once you've got all the taps open, you'll come over to the control panel on the wall and you'll turn on the water pump. Once that water pump is on, the water system will start filling, and like I said, when you've got water coming out of every tap on the caravan, as we have now, that means the water system is full. Once the water system is full, you'll actually then be able to start warming the water on board the caravan. So up on the wall here, we've got our electric water heater. So as you can see, it's turned on. So at the moment we're running our electric for the water heating, and you probably saw it steaming away. So you can see it's nice and hot. It's around 35 to 40 degrees of water temperature you're going to get on the electric side of the water heating. You can operate the water heating on gas also, and all you need to do for that is just to spin this dial round to the flame symbol just here. The green light will appear, which is essentially a pilot light, and when it has ignited fully, you'll be able to control the water temperature on the dial here between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature. So if it does fail to ignite, you'll get a red light appear behind here, which it may well do in a second. There we go, red light has appeared. That means it's actually failed to ignite. At the moment, that is just because we've got no gas on board the van. But like I said, if it ever failed to ignite and the gas is turned on, I'd advise you go to the hob, ignite the hob and get the gas through on the hob, because that is the last point on the gas system generally. If it did still fail to ignite at that point, you'd turn it to the off position again and try to reignite, and hopefully at that point it would actually reignite. Like I said, you've got the water temperature control between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature on gas. On electric, it is just the preset temperature of 35 to 40 degrees. So at that point, you're going to probably want to start warming the caravan up if it's a bit of a chilly day like it is this morning. So over on the opposite side, so you can see the door, next to the door on the left hand side, you've actually got your controls for the room heating. So you're going to need to turn the control on here, power switch for that. Then above that, you actually have a switch again which says ultra heat on it, which is for the 230 volt heating. So in the centre, you've got a control for the temperature of the heater between 1 and 9 on this dial here. And depending on what site you're on, there is 3 different levels of power available coming from each different site. So for instance, if you're on a site with 500 watts of power available, you'd select the 500 watts down the side by using the dial on the outside here, the grey dial. And you'd select that, and that'd be relevant to the site you're on. Some sites you would need to ask in the site office, because they won't always make it apparent straight away which power source you can use. But if you do ask them in the site office when you go to the site, they'll more than happily help with that. The heating you can run on blown air. As you can probably see around the bottom of the van, you've got these vents that look a bit like the ones in your car. And you can select blown air if you wish to. So blown air on this wave symbol here is the option for running continuous blown air. And you've got your fan speed on top, a bit like in your car again. The dot in the centre will actually indicate the heat's going to come out the front of the heater. And the A on the right hand side is actually an automatic blown air, so it essentially cuts in and out with the thermostat on the caravan. So it won't run continuously, however it will cut in and out as the van drops temperature wise. On the opposite side, you've actually got your dial for the gas heating itself. So this dial on top, in the off position, just here, on 0. If you spin the dial around once you've got gas connected, between 10 and 9, hold down the gas valve and hit the igniter on the left hand side, it will allow you to use the gas system on board the van. When it has ignited, you would need to continue to hold down the gas valve for 5 to 10 seconds, and the pilot light that you'll need to be looking at to see if it has ignited is just in this window down the front of the heater, and you'd look at around a 45-degree angle from the floor upwards, that is, sorry, so at the sort of angle we are now with the camera, to see that pilot light. It is a little bit difficult to see the first time, but once you've got the hang of where it is, you'll actually see that it is kind of in position where that dot is through that gap at the moment. The hob and cooker works exactly the same as your household, so you've got your hob on top, gas hob, you've got your gas grill and gas oven below, and below that, oh sorry, in the cupboard next to, no, below the grill, sorry, you've actually got some gas taps where you can isolate the gas supplies to the caravan if you need to. The fridge, fairly straightforward to use. You've got a dial just here on the left hand side for selecting different power sources. You've got the option to run gas just here, and to ignite it on gas you'll press in the temperature valve on the far side of the fridge and hit the igniter at the same time, very similar to the heater behind us. When it has ignited on gas, you'll actually see a little red line in here. The little red line will come round into the green, and when that red line is in the green, it is actually saying that the pilot light is lit and the fridge is operating on gas. Again, once it has ignited, you do need to hold this valve in for 5 to 10 seconds and then slowly release the valve. On gas or mains power for the fridge, you would actually use this dial here to control the temperature of the fridge. To select mains, put the dial over to the plug symbol just here, and that will allow you to select the mains power source. If you're towing down the road and you want to use 12 volt as a power source, so you can use the fridge as a cool box, you actually spin the dial to the 12 volt battery symbol just here. Now that is not relevant to the 12 volt supply on board the caravan, it is simply the 12 volt supply from the car you are towing with to the caravan. Up above here we have the microwave, so you've got your power select or your timer select on the front, but as you can see that is working as you'd expect it to. And the classic microwave ding on the end there. In the bathroom, you've got an electric flush on the toilet. I'll explain to you in a moment when we go outside how to fill that toilet flush. And below the toilet, you've got this grey waste handle here that you'll push open to one side to allow the toilet waste to go down into the side inside the cassette on the outside of the van. Again, I'll go through that in a moment with you to explain how that works. The toilet does turn for your convenience, so you can spin it round just here, as you can see. However, when you are emptying the waste from the cassette, you will actually need to turn the toilet cassette back straight across the van to allow you to remove the waste cassette from under the van. If the toilet was turned, it actually locks the waste cassette in place, so it can't be pulled out while the toilet is being used. On the front of the van we have the jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. This is all something we'll go through in person here on site, and also you've got your connection to the car for the lights and 12 volt systems on board the van. You've got storage on the side of the van, as you can see, access with the key, and then pull the lock up and you'll be able to access that storage on the side of the van. You've also got your wind down leg on either side at the front, and these will be used for stabilising the van but never lifting the van off the ground, due to the fact it could damage the floor of the caravan. On the side of the van you have your gas flue for your heating and hot water systems, which you'd need to remove prior to igniting anything on gas. If you did have that on, the gas systems potentially wouldn't light, but if they did, obviously there could be a problem with carbon monoxide building up inside the van. So please do make sure you remove that. Inside the van you've got your water pump that drops down into the aqua roll itself, and you've got the water pump connection that pushes into the side of the van. You can push down the cap here to lock the pump into place. On the side of the van you've also got your 2 fridge vents to allow the heat out of the back of the fridge unit. The motor mover and wheels, the wheel nuts will be torqued prior to you taking the caravan from site here, and they'll be torqued to 110 newton meters in line with the caravan with Bailey's guidelines. The motor mover will also be demonstrated later on in the video. Then got your 2 grey waste pipes coming out the side of the van, so you've got your fresh water that goes in here, and you've got your grey water, which is the wastewater from the sink and shower that comes out the side of the van just down here. You'd put your 2 grey pipes into place and they would drop down into your waste master. On the back of the van here, you have your toilet flush tank. So this is the one where you'd need to put in the flush fluid. So you put 3.5 litres of water in here, and also a cap full of the pink fluid. In the toilet cassette below, to release it, you'd pull up the orange handle and pull it towards you. The neck that you see here actually turns out to allow the waste to come out of the cassette. And on the back of the cassette, you've got an orange pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You would need to put in there a litre of water prior to use, and a cap full, and when I say a cap full, I mean the grey cap here, of blue fluid. On the back of the van on either side, you've got your wind down legs. As you can see, for handover, I've just got the one down, but normally you'd have all 4 down for the purpose of using the van on site. At the back of the van here, you've also got the bed storage box, so underneath the bed at the rear, you'll be able to access the storage in the back of the van. You've then got your battery box, where you'd fit your 110 amp leisure battery for using the motor mover, and you've got your mains power lead coming into the side of the van also. The motor mover main power switch is behind there, and again, like I said, I'll demonstrate that later in the video. At the front of the van, again, you've got the last wind down leg, and you've also got another storage locker for this side of the van. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the caravan. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company. Thank you very much. Bye bye.